and I promise we will dive into the experience, but I also find you so interesting. And I know that it's so interesting to talk about. We could talk about these things all day long. And if I could pick your brain of all your stories, like we could basically have a whole podcast of just chatting with Cynthia. But I remember you and I had a session together where you offered up your gifts for me, and you opened up your channel and you channeled a maternal grandmother who came through, and there was reflections on my relationship with my mother. So this was my mother's mother coming through, reflecting on my relationship with my mother. And you said, I feel funny in my body. Like you felt dizzy. You felt like these physical sensations in your body. And you said, this is not the way. This is not the way. They're just saying this is not the way. Right. And I knew exactly what that meant, because at that time I was going to a psychotherapist and going through a series of ketamine assisted psychotherapy sessions. And what you were describing was the feeling of when it was intramuscular. So when the feeling of ketamine would flow through my veins, it was a dizzy feeling where I start to lose sensation in my body and begin to dissociate a little bit. And that's what you were describing. And you're saying, this is not the way, this is not the way. And my intention of experiencing those sessions was to do some healing in my relationships, specifically with my maternal line. Yeah. And that was so wild to me. And it was such interesting confirmation of like, this is not the healing that you need. So you don't need to continue with that anymore.
Yeah. I remember that feeling in my body, because I've never done that, but I was able to experience it through you, which is fascinating, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I just find that so interesting. So during that part, and it's so funny too, because I don't remember a lot of what because when I'm doing that meditation, I'm making notes also. And it's like an automatic writing that most people probably wouldn't be able to read. Yeah. But anyways, I remember that specifically because I had never tried that modality, and it felt so like paralyzing, like it just didn't feel good. And that was the whole idea, right? Is your grandmother was coming through, showing me the sensation and letting me know that this was not the right avenue. Yeah, that was something else.
That was, yes. I remember you specifically saying paralyzing. And I was like, that's exactly right. And for anyone who's ever experienced a ketamine session, or even recreational, if you use ketamine, what they refer to as the K-hole, when you go into the K-hole is there's so much ketamine going through your system that you do dissociate and you no longer have an awareness of your body. So you are like deep in these wormholes of your mind and your body doesn't exist anymore. So you're not moving. So there is no body, so you don't move it. So there is that sensation of like paralysis. So yeah, that was, whew, and I'm just remembering all of that now. So it's kind of, it's so wild. That was years ago. That was, maybe that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood for sure. Yeah.
So wild. Yes.
I love